Some really beautiful things are happening in your rooms, and the stories that you're sharing and the ideas that you're sharing, it's just phenomenal. When you stand and share your story in an empowering way, your story will heal you and your story will heal someone else. I hope that whatever love means to you and the various meanings that love can have, that you feel some level of that through the activities of this weekend. And I hope that this is something that helps to fuel your poetry and to fuel your mind and your heart. Because I think one of the best places that writing comes from is when the mind and the heart aren't in tension with each other, but when they're working very cooperatively together. So I hope you feel that.
I wish I knew why. There are 9 people with me. We are the magpies. We are curious and impotent and tend to take what isn't ours. At least that's what On the Wings of Change says. But I do not know how these people, how can they all be intelligent, curious, and impotent? How can they all have an aura of connection and want to gain knowledge? The lady to my right has pink hair. She is small and quivery and reminds me of a bird. It makes sense because she has 7 birds, goldfinches. 7 goldfinches. Not one like in Donna Tartt's The Goldfinch, and they are not paintings either. They are real birds, and they are the love of the pink lady's life. I want to have a love of my life. Not a human, not living, but a thought. Maybe an ideal that can sustain me through the timeline of life, regardless of where I go, who I'm with, the change that is occurring around me. The girl to my left is like an old friend. Blanket girl, I call her. She too is a magpie. She has a sister, I think. She started to mention her, but then she stopped. I wonder why. She's easy. You can feel the aura surrounding her like a beam trying to lead you home from the dark. She likes people. Funny because I would choose almost anything over the fickleness of the human nature. She likes connection. Funny too because I would rather be on the outside of Noah's Ark, watching and observing, waiting for the moment, the perfect moment to take flight. After all, I am here, and I am a magpie.
Years ago, Miss Alice told me 40 is a glorious age, and she was correct. 40 was glorious, but at the same time I experienced, at different times throughout my 40s, phases of growing pains that often led to both an awakening and a transformation. But 50. 50. If I was going to sum up what it feels like in a single word, without hesitation, that word is freedom. Freedom to be who I am. Freedom to like what I do and who I do it with. freedom to like myself, freedom to be comfortable within my own skin, freedom to get my validation from within rather than looking outward. At 50, I have realized that I am good enough, smart enough, pretty enough. I've realized that I don't need an excuse or reason for being. It is enough that I am here.
Colorful,
Cinnamon,
plucky mandolin,
my lover's body,
sing to the skies,
how solid the branch is.
coarse as Osage orange bark,
How I see it, the sky is wide,
sure to avoid humans,
soft running water appearing,
a woman's voice,
healthy hunger,
need,
flowering.
Lavender and bittersweet hot chocolate. If mercy were a scent,
It would smell like violets and lavender.
if my emotions were a place,
It would be the beach at sunset.
or the blue over a soft, golden, winter-withered field,
If courage were a sound,
it would be the lion's roar.
or the steady beating of the drums,
If change could be touched
it would be fresh, cool water.
and felt, coarse but soft,
If I were a bird,
I would be sure that the rain would not weigh down my wings.
and I would be very annoying to humans.
If my heart played a song,
It would be piano keys and the ripple clinking of chimes.
if compassion could be drunk,
It would be bittersweet hot chocolate.
thank you.
A whisk, a doll, and an adventure. A whisk means being on an adventure. My grandma used to take me on many adventures as a child and a teenager. We used to pack up snacks and clothes just in case we spent the night. On one occasion, we drove to a festival. My grandma thought it would be a fun time for me. I remember the day being hot. The whole ride felt like forever. When we got there, I was so excited. My hunger and thirst went away. The day I won a beautiful doll and assorted doll clothes. I felt so excited. I still remember my grandma smiling as we ate a country meal. That night we ate dinner at home. I spent the night. I remember sleeping in my bed. My doll was with me. My adventure was full of love. Both my grandma and I love dolls. This adventure brings us together. My grandma is 103 years old. She still remembers me and the stories of her dolls. My grandma loves when I bring one downstairs to share with her. This is the one connection that escapes her memory loss.
All that matters,
Fresh,
breeze,
sun on face,
head tilted up.
a big welcoming sphere.
This earth is my home.
I could go anywhere I want, no problem.
Freedom would not be only for boys.
I've never felt so refreshed.
Being seen for me,
Light breaking through,
happy and strong
beautiful.
woman.
Black. I never knew that the nauseated feeling I live with might be directly connected to my race. I never knew there was such a thing as racial trauma until this past year, though I've been traumatized from birth. I'm accustomed to the risk of living as a Black woman. I have adjusted to how society demands I behave. It is sickening to think that my white mother and white grandmother helped in this conditioning, helped in taking me further away from my identity. The risk I face now is not only living, but living as myself. How do you tell your own mother that she doesn't know how to be a Black ally? Why does the risk held in truth feel so tight around my throat. I think that finding a home within my skin, moving myself away from the white comfort of my mother's skin, has allowed me to finally begin my life.
Oval,
Canvas,
Blackbird,
lightning crashes,
taking wing on a prayer,
the sky and the clouds,
Esther Price candy in the evening,
vanilla milkshake, fluffy whipped cream, a ripe cherry,
landscape of the Ukraine,
a vicious battlefield,
lavender,
pavement after rain,
Celtic.
breath.
Everyone has heard the story of the ugly duckling. The fairy tale always baffled me. He's different and unloved because his outside is ugly. Only when he changes into a gorgeous swan do people love him. I always thought, how shallow, but how true. Supposedly he found his own kind, he belonged with, and then he was accepted. Sometimes transformation ourselves can be forced, like the ugly duckling. We want people to love us, a natural human quality, so we change. This is an ugly kind of transformation. It hides us from ourselves. It makes us believe we aren't good enough, that we will never be good enough. Then there is a natural transformation. In the wake of a deep life lesson, many of us think that life is a coming-of-age film, and in one swift moment ourselves will hit us like a hammer. Not so. Searching for your inner self is like searching for an ember in a snowstorm. When we arrive, frostbitten and starved, we'll kick the ashes and say, that's it? Who we are is something we have known since birth. Gradually, as we become older, we got wiser. We learn to hide. We learn to lie. People often tell us who we are, and then we believe them. Growing up, I didn't have a lot of friends because I thought I didn't have that spark, that charisma that made people like you. It's really hard to let people in sometimes, because it's if you hand them the reins and you say, lead me along. For us as humans, control can be the only thing we own in our lives. Control on who we are. Why are we the way we are? Nature versus nurture. The debated philosophical question that ultimately leads us to transformation. Did we ever really change? Can humans ever change? Should transformation be instead called discovering? These are the answers we search for. As poets, as writers, and as intelligent people, we look and look and look. Then we give up. I guess the unsatisfactory answer is we are who we are, period. For someone who likes to know, it's all very disappointing.
Timid.
A breach in the wall.
Opportunity or injury.
Is this something I felt before?
Like a rabbit, chased and zigzagging.
Am I to run from the unaware?
Or am I here to teach it something?
The teaching of love.
Sweet, sour, and juicy.
I've bitten into it.
It's bitten me too.
Ouch.
Love.
I took a leap of faith. When I look at my life so far, I see two halves, BC and AC, or before and after China. When my company sent me to Guangzhou, China in 1995, I left behind my 9-year-old son and a marriage under serious strain. I will never forget sobbing on the airplane after leaving my son, crying, "Mommy, don't go," nor the comfort I felt when a sympathetic flight attendant knelt down beside me and said, "Well, that just about broke all of our hearts. I want you to know that your son is doing fine now. He and his dad are trying to find where you're sitting and when they'll see you again. He's going to be okay." It remains one of the kindest things anyone has ever said to me. 6 months later, I returned home, 6 months of time to find the calm and order that comes from escaping the chaos of living both with an emotionally unhealthy person. To do this, I had to leave my child behind. For the better part of 6 months, I left my parental responsibilities behind me and indulged in the time to grow, free of the constraints of my troubled marriage. Sometimes I would go a full day without even thinking of my son. Again, born of guilt that I can still call up today. But without that 6 months, I would not have grown the strength and clarity of thought that allowed me to come home and walk away from the life I left behind. I ended my marriage, began a new life as a single mother. I began a new career at my company, one I created that played to my strengths. After recognizing that I wasn't ready to repartner, I chose to devote time to myself, to rediscovering things I'd lost over the course of my marriage. I learned that an essential part of loving others is being able to love yourself. No one can take that from you, and it shines forth, keeping those who would use or abuse you away.
Book.
Scribble.
In math class,
I can't focus
I look out the window.
because I'm a word person.
It allows me to have more freedom and fun.
I don't like numbers, they're always the same.
Because I'm a word person.
I look out the window.
I can't focus.
In math class.
Scribble.
Book.
The risk of a shift. Sometimes we become something else. We find ourselves shifting into a new way that cannot be undone. Transformations can be beautiful, a flower growing from a mud-coated seed. They can be simple, the feelings of freedom after you dye your hair. They can be messy as well. A caterpillar does not become a butterfly without completely destroying its original form first. As people, we can usually see our chances for transformation. We judge the risk and choose the changes we want to take, the jump for. We can decide that the possibility of losing what we have is worth the possibility of gaining what we want. For animals and insects, they do not choose their battles in the same way. They live through instinct and the lessons they learn. When they migrate, they take the risk of trusting fate and the power they have inside themselves rather than what they know. It can be scary to take that risk when you could lose a part of yourself, such as your dignity or security, even if it means going after what you truly want. You might run after your aspirations and get left behind in the dust, gasping for air because you took the risk but you weren't fast enough to catch your dream. Or you could go after what you love and lose so much of yourself but you'd be happy. I don't think that the question to ask yourself when you're considering transformation is if you should keep walking or run, but whether it is better to be successful at what keeps you safe, or to be happy and content in the risk of something that could end soon but change you forever in ways you aren't sure of.
Song of Senses. Pyramid.
Irregular.
I feel pretty.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Like burning incense.
A rainstorm.
Sure to touch the hearts and souls of all who see it.
I know what my wings are for and what I can do.
I am a work in progress.
Upbeat and forever changing.
God grant me the courage.
Like the roar of a lion.
Boom.
Mic drop.